Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Artful Exchange, the podcast where we explore the rich and inspiring worlds of art, design, poetry, and creativity. I'm your host, the poetic designer from Winter Design, and I'm so excited to introduce our first guest in 2025. Katarzyna Maria Wieczorek, also known as Kamawi. She's a Polish-Norwegian composer and sound designer based in Norway. With a strong background in musicology and music technology from NTNU, Kamawi has established herself as an innovative voice in contemporary music. With her debut piece, Solidarność, also known as Solidarity, at Rockheim in 2020, and since then she has been involved in numerous interdisciplinary projects that blend music, visual art and dance. Known for her experimental approach to composition, she often explores alternative methods of connecting data with music, experimenting with timbre and scales and using field recordings alongside programming. One of her standout projects is Brainfeels, a collective initiative that visualizes different mental states, allowing listeners to experience a deep emotional connection. Kamawi's work often balances between technology and traditional folk music, creating immersive soundscapes where improv with synths, vocals, and acoustic instruments play a key role. Beyond her creative pursuits, Kamawi is a strong advocate for greater representation of women and non-binary composers in the Norwegian music industry, actively engaging with organizations like Young Nordic Music Festival and AKKS Trondheim. Hi Katarzyna, welcome. It's just so great to have you here.
Hi.
I am really excited to hear more about your project Brainfeels, which is a completely new project you are working on that visualizes different mental states. Can you share how you translate these invisible emotional experiences into sound and what emotions or reactions you hope to evoke in your listeners?
Yeah, of course. This project is basically a huge hybrid because it started as this idea, like me and my colleagues wanted to just, make something together, and we needed a topic. And I remember that a friend of mine, Gunni Løre, she's a dancer, an artist. She has something called misophonia, which is basically a fear or a reaction to certain sounds. And that was the start of the Brainfeels, because I thought, like, why can't we just make a project about that state that informs people, but also, shows that there are ways of helping people with misophonia. So basically, the project started there. So the first thing we did was testing and writing a script for a short film. So the short film will be called Brainfeels Misophonia. And there, it's a collaboration between 3D and dance and music and sound. So all of us are exploring, the states of emotions in textures and dynamics, and for me, how can I translate the anxiety for the sounds with music? I basically use, different things, like to making rapid fragmented rhythms or sharp high frequencies, and different kind of instruments to translate it. So basically it's going back and forth and in between all of us together at the same time.
Wow, this sounds so exciting. So it's all various emotions.
Yes, correct. It's
how many people are involved?
Sorry?
I mean, how many people are involved in the project?
For now, we have a director and 3D animator, a sound designer, composer, and a dancer. So we're 5 people, and of course the whole crew that will be helping out with the production. So it will be many, many more people, but the core is 5 people.
So, is the plan that it will only be performed here in Trondheim, Norway, or several places?
We're going to film in Trondheim, but we also were filming in Hamar, in this motion capturing studio. Um, we went on this trip in 2021 to capture the choreography in 3D. So it was really, really fun way of doing it, and learning a new technique. And yeah, and the rest will be in Trondheim.
Very exciting.
Mm.
Now, I have had the pleasure of working with both you and Gunil before. So I know you are a great team.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's something, we're going back and forth in different projects and different constellations, and I think there is something unique, with working with artists from different fields. For me, at least, it gives me so much pleasure, and it's a playground where someone is open to your ideas and your way of thinking. Yeah, it's really inspiring.
It is. I mean, that is basically working interdisciplinary.
Mm,
I love it. I think it's the way everyone should be
yeah,
working in the near future, really.
yeah.
You have a background in both musicology and
Mm.
music technology. How do you integrate these two disciplines in your creative process, and how does it influence the way you experiment with sound and
Mm.
texture?
Yeah, I mean, I feel I'm a little bit like, two people in one person, because musicology is basically history and how everything has been done up to now. While I think music technology is kind of the future direction where you can use the skills of knowing the history, but also tweaking and, experimenting much more. So to me, it's basically understanding history and culture and put it in a context to my project. So basically pushing the boundaries with technology, but not forgetting the history of music at all. So in my creative process, I use both musicology and music technology to tell a story. It's as simple as that. Just everything I know, and uh, yeah, trying to combine it with everything I don't know yet.
For sure. I mean, it is obviously a good mix
Mm,
for you. I did not quite
yeah.
understand, though, what musicology is, though. Could you please elaborate what it is?
Mm. Musicology is the studies about history of music. So everything we know about music from 1,000 years ago up to now. It's also composing and knowing how to read notes, like Gregorian type of music, and also Baroque and Romanticism. So it's the whole spectrum of history of music, but also um, making music. So it's both theory and practice.
Very interesting.
Mm.
How long did it take to study these two disciplines?
Yeah, actually, I started on musicology, and I only took 2 years, since the third year could be anything. So I took music technology as the third year. So I have a bachelor in musicology and 2 years for music technology. And on top of that, because I really wanted to go farther with composing, I took a 1 year of composing and arrangement, or arranging for different instruments.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, all the courses are from NTNU and the Conservatory from Trondheim.
So you ended up in Norway because of your love for music and sound.
Yeah, that is actually correct. It, yeah, I fell in love with Radio Alta. It's this radio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I heard that. NTNU is a great department to study within the field of music.
Yeah, I mean, both musicology and music technology are so open and including and also pushing, everyone to experience music in different ways, I would say, and doing it in totally different way than I was used to from Poland, from my home.
Oh, that's good. So there are a lot of different people from around the world studying there, then, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, on these courses, there are some students from especially music technology, and a lot of Norwegians. The course is in Norwegian, so I was actually the only one foreigner on this course.
Oh, really? Surprising. So then you were forced to learn Norwegian.
Oh yeah, yeah, like definitely. Like right now, I'm a Norwegian citizen as well, so it went quite well, and yeah, I had to.
Yeah. When you have to, you have to.
Yeah.
Much of your music is often described as
Mm,
having cinematic quality. How do you go about constructing a narrative or emotional arc with your
mm,
compositions? Or even, without the visual element of
mm.
film?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned previously, for me, it's a storytelling, and every story has a intro and a main part and the end. And every piece that I make, I kind of try to treat like that, like going slowly into this universe that I want to build, and I like to build the universes very slowly up from the bottom up. Uh, Basically for audience to kind of wander around and feel included and and basically make this space for them to wonder and think and feel. So yeah, I create layers, a lot of layers with different instruments and different emotions that I want to touch.
Hmm. As I mentioned earlier, I have worked with you before briefly, and I do hope in the near future as well I will
Mhm.
be working with you. But have you worked with a wide range of interdisciplinary projects involving dance and visual arts? How do these collaborations shape your approach to composing music, and how do you ensure a seamless integration between the different art forms?
Mm. Mm. I mean, I think I don't have a recipe on like how to do it perfectly, but I would say like all my collaboration sparks kind of joy, and I basically have this lingo which I use with different artists. We basically sit together and I interview them like, okay, how would you describe this sound or that sound, and then we know we have this common ground. We start from there, like basically lingo, and then I learned some lingo about visual arts and dancing. So it's easier to speak about music as well. And I love to improvise, so I love being in this room together with dancers, following their moves, um, their rhythm, pace, and then basically letting everything happen. So basically all of my music has been created that way, and then I go back to the studio and put other layers on that, but it is always inspired by the other people around.
You are a very visual person, and it is a beautiful combination. Your piece, Solidarity, has been shown in both Norway and Poland. Can you maybe talk or walk us through the inspiration behind it and how you captured the essence of solidarity through
Yeah.
sound?
And the piece Solidarność Solidarity, it was uh, mine and yet another Gunhild's project about basically me being in Norway and feeling both Norwegian and Polish at the same time, and the struggles that uh, yeah some struggles I've had in my life with being this dual person. So this piece is around 50 minutes long, and we had the premiere here in Trondheim, where mostly all of the audience was Norwegian, but there was some Polish people who came, which was really, really nice. And then we played the same piece with different dancers in Poland, and people understood and uh, had different kind of meanings about this piece there. Um, but it is basically showing the history of how how you become another person and how to be in a new society.
Yeah, it is so interesting to me how the same production can be interpreted, completely different from one country to the next. I can so relate to what you're saying.
Mm.
Everyone should share their unique story behind what it feels like, I suppose. Really good.
Yeah. I mean,
Really good.
we were really lucky that we could collaborate with both Rockheim about the stage, and also like amazing people on light and sound, live sound, and dancers, different dancers from Trondheim Folkeskole, but also professional dancers from Denmark and Norway. So it was quite a big mix of different people, but the process was exactly the same. Like in the beginning, we were sitting down. I was telling the story of how it was to me being here in Norway, and how I see it, and they could ask me questions, and then we basically found out that everyone in that room experienced what I've experienced, but on a different level. So it's yeah, it's not something unique, feeling lonely or feeling uh, as an outsider. So basically, this it was amazing experience for so many groups of people, I would say.
Well, Katarzyna, you often use unconventional methods to connect data with music. Could you maybe give us an example of a project where you used data to influence your music and what was the creative process behind it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I use a lot of field recordings and a lot of natural sounds, which I process in the Logic Pro Nuendo program. But the most experimental, I would say, was making a piece out of 3D data that was captured on a dancer. So a dancer was moving, and it was for Brainfeels project. The dancer was moving around, and all the movement has a number, and also like where in the room it is, like on the right, left, up and down. So I used this data to actually create some musical pieces, like really short pieces of music, um, and then yet again I gave opportunity to the dancer to influence that piece of music. So it was kind of a loop, like she made the music with her body, I made a sound for it and kind of system for it, and then the dancer could again influence it, like how much volume it would be, like how much reverb, room tones would there be. So it was really really fun to play with around, and it's different way of composing than you learn at school, I would say, because normally you would make a some melody, pick up some tones, but here it was up to the dancer's body to make those.
How incredibly exciting it sounds.
Mm,
Wow. Improvisation seems to play a significant role in your
mm,
work. How do you balance the spontaneity of impro and the structure needed for a cohesive piece?
mm. That is a really good question, because I don't think I have an answer for that, because every project is different, and sometimes I actually draw the whole project out. Like I know, like um, this will be like 2 minutes of this kind of mood and 5 minutes of this kind of mood. And then I just build from that. But sometimes I just improvise the whole piece as a whole, like 40 minutes or whatever it's needed, and then put some other stuff on it. So it's every project has a different approach, I would say. um, it starts with with the first tone, and then I kind of know, okay, will I improvise the whole thing or just like small parts? But I love to improvise the whole thing, like a skeleton which I can build on.
Would you say that when you say music technology, you are also inspired by traditional folk music? Does that influence you? I mean, what draws you to this blend?
Yes, I do use technology, and I use different instruments and, as I said, field recordings. But I also sing, and I love using that in my pieces as a sound design effect or as a main character. It doesn't matter. I always tend to come back to, both singing but also playing the instruments like the piano. It's somewhere always there. And also, I don't know, when you hear human voice, there is something that happens with the audience always when they can hear, folk melodies or a voice.
Something people might identify with. Yeah, their past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Mm.
basically like traditional folk music, it's timeless, and it's we since we are babies, since we're born, everyone who talks to a baby, starts talking a little bit higher in the pitch, a little bit like they're singing. So I guess it's in our DNA. That's why it works that well. And I always will be using that because it's, a natural part of me.
There is one thing that I think we need to talk about here today, and that is that you're an advocate for greater representation of women and non binary composers in the music industry. How do you think the industry can better support diversity,
Mm,
and what changes would you like to see
mm,
in the coming years?
mm. That's another great question, actually, because it's something that I've been working with a very long time. I was working in Axe Norway and Axe Trondheim for female and non-binary people in the music industry, and we have been doing a lot of different things like courses and advertising to get more women in the music industry in general, and it is getting better. It is, but it's like, baby steps. Watching how you're talking about music and how you're talking about the composers. Start there. Like a lot of people who comes to my studio, they say like, "Oh, where's this sound man or sound guy?" Start there. Like there is no sound guy here. So start with us, like just saying sound technician or sound designer. um, Reflect on how you use your language, and then talk to universities. And that's what I was doing. I was doing a lot of political work as well, basically talking about our needs. Like we need more role models. We need, female composers in books because we never had them. Like in musicology studies, we had never had any female composer while I was studying. And I wasn't studying that long ago. So it's something that is happening and changing.
Well said. I mean, reflecting how we say things out loud is so important. How long ago are we talking about?
2017.
And, just out of curiosity, how many females are in your class or were in your class?
When it comes to my music technology studies, we were three. Um, but the year before that, it was only one. And 2 years before, there was none. So we're three out of 30 people.
Right, right. Well, there is still a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, we have still room for, diversity. We want diversity everywhere, but somehow like technology and making music and composing frightens people, and it's not that accessible yet. But I really believe that in like 10 years we'll be in much better place.
So, looking ahead, are there any new sonic territories or concepts you're excited to explore in your upcoming projects? Can you maybe give us a sneak peek into what's next in the near future for Kamawi?
Mhm. I mean, for me, it's basically finding new projects and finding new people, and also collaborating with the old ones as well. Because as long as we are inspired and we can work together, then I'm super happy. And for 2025, I'm really excited for this dance performance, and I'm going to make music and sound design, where the audience will follow the dancer in the darkness with the headset on. And I think it's going to be a totally different experience, because you kind of delete all the ambience of the city and can focus on the music that comes into your ears, while you can walk around the dancers and, uh, be drawn into this history. So this is happening in March 2025.
This is Greenfields we're talking about, right?
No, this is the other project.
Oh, sorry. Right, I see.
Yeah, this is other project. It's called Vorm Arena, for this mastership or ski-VM in Trondheim. But when it comes to Brainfeels, I'm still making an album, like the full-length album with music, and we'll be putting up some sneak peeks soon on the website, because this project is different, and we want to show the research and our everything, our work we've done the couple of years right now. Just make it accessible to anyone.
So, are you also open for projects abroad in various countries?
Yes, definitely. I mean, since 2020, I don't think there is any, we don't have to be somewhere to make a project anywhere in the world. Basically, I'm really mobile, and I can take my stuff anywhere and collaborate with anyone. This is actually amazing, because we can have this talk online, and we can work together like that as well. And I'm actually I'm having some plans for different collaborations. It's not on the paper yet, but I would love to go back to Iceland and work with music. And I mean, traveling and working is the best thing.
Yeah, and Iceland is a beautiful place to work. To end this episode, can you maybe share some new inspiring sound or new inspirations for new inspiring sound engineers and what they should do?
Yeah, actually, I would love to, use this opportunity to speak to anyone, especially women and non-binary people sitting there and listening. If you want to try, there are so many ways of trying making music online and for free. You don't have to have equipment. You just have to, have your imagination there. But if you want to, you can always reach out to me at Kamawi as@gmail.com, and I would love to help you and guide you or show you some stuff if you're interested.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Katarzyna, for inspiring us with your story here today. I am excited to keep on following you and your work. As a sound designer, I do hope you won't be too harsh towards this podcast and its sound. We are merely amateurs compared to you.
No worries.
I might also point out that you can help podcasters improve their sounds, can't you? If anyone is in need of an excellent sound engineer, contact Katarzyna.
Thank you very much, Sonia. It was so nice to talk to you.
You too. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. And I hope we'll work together.
And I hope to see you very soon. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the Artful Exchange. If you wish to learn more about my guest Kamawi, please have a look in our description post for this specific episode to find their social media links and so on. Remember to follow the Artful Exchange. New episodes come out monthly, and until next time, stay creative and inspired.